This Trump shooting, just before we move on, who's to blame for that attempted assassination of Donald Trump?
I mean, it's clearly the deep state. It's the people inside of the government that don't want things to change. It's not the first attempt to kill a president, and it's not the first time a president has been killed. Usually presidents get killed when they want to introduce new policy when it comes to money, or when you start obstructing and changing the current powers that are at B. So you look at the 3-letter agencies, the FBI, the CIA, the NHS, the NSA. None of these people are appointed by the people. These people are appointed by a cabinet and they just stick around. Who's the head of the FBI? Who's the head of the CIA? We don't even know. You don't think these people have any power?
Yeah.
They run some of the top intelligence agencies that are most insanely funded in the world. But we don't know who they are. And they sit there for decades on decades on decades. That's a deep state. People that have, bro, you don't think somebody's gonna come in and when you disrupt billions of dollars worth of markets and transactions and volume, go look at the interview with John McAfee a couple years before he died, where he said, he inserted viruses into all the computers of the government and realized that the head of the immigration department was actually one of the biggest sex traffickers in the entire continent. So he's working and infiltrated the government. Why wouldn't you infiltrate the government from the inside, set up the policies, and put yourself up to win? You don't think people are out here playing chess, bro? You must be delusional.
So how do you envision that theory then, that it was an inside job, the attempted assassination?
Tell me how you would get to Trump naked, let alone with a gun and a ladder and walk. It just doesn't happen.
I've seen a lot of people putting it down to incompetence, but there was a lot of incompetence going on from what I've seen of the shooting. I think that from the Secret Service, there was some stuff that was unexcusable, like that woman that's 5 foot tall. She's hiding behind the men with her gun out, and then she can't even get it back in the holster. Yeah. Like, that's just crazy. I think the fact that they're aiming to be 30% female by 2030, absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe that that's even...
That isn't necessarily on the front line, though. That could be...
But it's still just, it should be who is best for the job. It shouldn't have anything to do with gender. Yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous.
The point is it was sketchy, Like,
yeah, but that's what I was about to say.
You alone couldn't approach the president even if you wanted to.
Yeah, people with smartphones videoing him 2 minutes before he fired a shot. It's like, how does that happen?
Well, it's an inside job, bro. It's very simple.
I am not a conspiracy theorist, but I do like to believe that.
I mean, the evidence is very clear. If people can't see it, it's because they're sleeping and they have what we call cognitive dissonance. When you're presented all the facts are so obvious, but your brain is so conditioned, right, that it couldn't be possible, that you don't see it.
I can't wait to see what actually comes out. Like, what will be the official press release?
You're not going to get an official press. What's going to be official? Who's officiating it?
Surely they would have to say something, though, for the people. Otherwise,
they said that the roof was slanted and it wasn't safe.
It was dangerous. Yeah, too dangerous.
Do you think they try again, though?
I mean, it doesn't matter. People already know, dude. They didn't kill the man. You could kill him now. You could kill Trump now and it doesn't matter.
Why'd you say that then?
Because he's already symbol.
Right, okay.
He's symbolized.
So do you think if he was unalive now, would it affect the markets, or had they priced in the possibility?
It would affect the markets, but what I'm saying is society has changed. This has just turned tens of millions of people over.
I mean, that picture with his fist
it's the symbol. It's the symbol. People buy into symbols.
Yeah, I think that just won him the election if he wasn't going to win anyway, but I think he was.
So you're saying it was an inside job to miss?
No, it was an inside job trying to kill him, but it didn't work. You don't miss 0.5 millimeter away from somebody's head. No.
Okay, so but if they're that on it that they're able to create this situation and allow it to happen, how did they miss?
Who knows?
How can you miss that shot?
Who knows?
If you found a way to get a man on that roof that close to him, you've done the hard work. So how did they miss?
That's a great question, bro.
That's embarrassing.
What do you think about the fact that, Biden called Trump a threat to democracy? But surely the bigger threat to democracy
What is democracy?
Well,
don't ask him about big words.
You see,
what
is democracy? You see, we throw around these
it's terms. Our right to vote and be able to have our say.
No, it's not, because democracy doesn't work.
Yeah, but I would say
democracy has never worked. It doesn't, because you can't even define it. Democracy is of the people, for the people, but the people are stupid.
Yeah,
So the
but
people can't vote, and you think the elites are allowing the people to vote? You think votes are just? You think this idea of voting systems being completely transparent, and once a person gets elected, that they just do what the people
No,
say?
I agree with that, but
I
we
think
do have
probably
democracy,
voting
though.
is like people do have the option to vote, but I also think people can be manipulated to vote in a certain
And
way.
that's what
It's very easy to
it's
do.
called public relations,
Yeah.
invented by Edward Bernays, a synonym for propaganda. It all originates, dude, mass control of the mind.
So why does sometimes the left get elected and sometimes the right get elected? If it's the same people behind them.
Because it's all perception. Because if you give people perception of choice, then they'll never revolt, because that makes you feel like you're free. So you don't own the left, you don't own the right. You own both of them.
So how would you define it then? If we don't have democracy,
You own both of them. Listen, guys, listen. The system is very fucking simple. Money gets created in the bank, right? Credit creation gets lent out. We create $200 billion worth of funding to Israel, okay? Where do you think? Do you think that money, that 200 billion, zero of that 200 billion is going to come back to buy politicians to make more money?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Big
Why not?
flywheel, yeah.
It's a big flywheel. It's a big scam. It's been taking place forever. That's why you have all these big lobbies and all these big companies that are just throwing tens of millions of dollars. It's all recycled money from credit creation. That's why you can fund wars, you can fund politicians in perpetuity. So you don't own the left, you don't own the right, you own it all. You don't own Ukraine, you don't own Russia, you own it all. You own the war. You're the one that supplies the weapons to both.
Who?
Who gives a fuck?
Who?
Military industrial complex, pharma, food, it's all of them, bro. It's a big cabal.
It is crazy what happened in the UK recently. We had the big election, obviously, and really and truly, we had a choice between worse or worse, or bad, or the other option was reform. But most people would either just vote for one party to avoid the other party getting in. So there's no real option at all. You just have a choice between two bad parties completely.
You have no choice. It's the illusion of choice.
Yeah.
You're brought in front of two slave masters and you're asked to choose which slave master you want to bow down to.
do you think they'll ever change that voting system to proportional representation? Because here we vote for an MP in a constituency, and then those MP, whoever gets the most seats, gets in.
The best governments are monarchies or dictatorships that are run by benevolent kings. People actually give a fuck about their people. That's how it works in the best of societies.
I suppose that whole thing falls apart if then someone succeeds them.
Exactly.
That's
I mean, you
a
just have to
nutcase.
look at it. I think it was they're called the five kings or the five emperors in Rome, and it was this period of just peace. And yeah, there was war, there was turmoil, but it was a couple hundred years where they had complete equanimity. Everybody was calm, everybody was thriving. But once there was a successor that came in that wasn't good, which was Marcus Aurelius' son, the empire began to crumble again. So once again, you can either say that you're giving the people the choice, but who the fuck is Obama? Who the fuck is Bush? Who are these people?
So is this under the assumption then that the general public don't actually know what's best for them?
They don't.
So when someone just says, no, it's not about what you want, I'm going to tell you what to do, that works better.
It's not that it works. It's not. Do you prefer to be ruled knowing that you're being ruled, or do you prefer to think that you're free, but in fact you have no choice and you're being lied to? If I go to the Emiratis, if I go to Dubai, if I go to anywhere in that area of the world, I know who's in charge. I know the policies. I know the rules. I know the things that I can't do. I come here, weird. You don't know who's in charge. You don't know money bribes this guy, that guy. They're not dealing with money. They're beyond money. They have all the money in the world. It's power plays. So the question is, do you want to be under the governance of a corruptible system or under the potentiality of a benevolent king? I don't know. But any place where we have democracies, find me one that works. The US bringing democracy to Iraq and killing 1 million Iraqis.
But
That's
how
democracy.
can you say it doesn't work though when we are all here now, we all make good money, we live a life that we love? How can you say that it doesn't work? If we was all here in a burning,
go to Africa. You motherfuckers pillaged the entire continent for 500 years. No wonder you're doing great.
Yeah, fuck you.
yeah, but what does that have to do with democracy though?
Because it's the idea of coming and colonizing and instilling your values and imperialistic systems upon other countries. The only reason the UK is thriving and it was a metropolis because they colonized half of the world.
I guess the argument is we've never actually had democracy. We've always had secret people in charge.
Yeah,
So
but the
if
thing
it
is,
actually
but
happened,
whenever
would
you
it
ask
work?
someone about that, and I am starting to come round to this, because even just with Biden being president, the way that he is now,
you think he's
obviously he's
president?
not, of course, that's what I mean, obviously.
not.
So people are obviously starting to wake up because of that, because you are delusional if you look at him and think that he's running the country. But then anybody that I've ever asked, and I've had a lot of these conversations, it's like, well, if it isn't, you know, Biden, if it isn't the UK Prime Minister, then who is it?
It's a collective group of people.
But what does that mean?
It's a collective group of people. You sit down, the smartest, the most successful people in every industry, and you collude together. You think COVID, just everybody agreed upon it? All the airlines shut down, all the transportation shut down everywhere at the same time or within weeks? That's coordinated efforts of private industry. So it's private industry colluding with private industry. Look at BlackRock. They're the major shareholder of most companies, which means they have a decision-making factor in most of these major companies.
Are these people above the law?
Yeah, of course.
They are the-
They
So-
are.
so-
They create the rules, bro.
If these people are so powerful and they're actually the ones in charge, why would they be bothered about assassinating Trump if, you know, if he can't do
Different
anything?
factions competing for the power,
Right.
bro. Different psychopaths, bro. Trying to take control.
So if
There's
if
a lot
we-
of money at stake.
If we're going to believe that it might have been, you know, an inside job, can we also believe that it might have been an inside job that it didn't, like, they meant to miss? You know, why
It could be anything,
Why is
bro.
that not likely?
It could be. I mean, it could be. I don't want to go into it crazy on this podcast because these clips are going to be running for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
But it could be anything, bro. All I can tell you is the world's a theater and the world's a show.
How could they have like done it with the mist though? Because that's just way too close to call.
No,
Unless they didn't even
What they
shoot.
could have done is fired a blank. He had his capsule, and then they fired a real one, and obviously someone died. But they could have done that.
But that's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
That is possible. Though.
Yeah, that I don't.
Well, you
buy.
don't think the US government would kill a random person?
No, I think that the US government would try to kill Trump, but I don't think that they would fake trying to kill him and then kill someone else and all of that stuff, because that's just where it gets
I just think
crazy
you
for me.
do have to look at the likelihood that there was just a maniac who hated Trump, and there were
I
people
agree.
around Trump that day who were just awful at their job and should be
No,
fired.
But that's where it loses me. They're not that
I think that's
incompetent. I
possible.
agree.
They are,
But
bro. You
how
saw
would
that
they
woman
be
with her
incompetent
gun.
enough? The Secret Service are not that incompetent that they would allow that to happen.
Bro, the Secret Service wanted to come to your house tomorrow. They would be at your house tomorrow sipping tea at your motherfucking
Of
kitchen
course.
table. And they're not going to secure 150
On the nearest roof.
150 feet away. Bro, these people can literally pull all your DNA records with one fucking phone call. All your
Yeah.
everything, all your bank statements, everything. A couple phone calls. Maybe it takes a month. But they'll get everything they need about you. They're not going to secure what's going to be the next bro. It's an inside job.
What happens if we don't get answers to that then? Because
You're
there's
not gonna
gotta
get
be-
answers.
Look,
The
sure,
point- you're not
but
gonna get
so-
answers.
But there's gonna be some sort of uproar then, right?
Well, the uproar
From the right going,
the uproar
what the
already
fuck happened?
Well, it
Someone
already
explain.
happened. People are already pissed. So Biden already lost the election. This is already obvious.
Yeah.
And Kamala is not. I'm already predicting this because it's so obvious. Like the world's a theater. It's a fucking joke. Kamala's not going to run. They're probably going to get rid of the entire ticket and bring in 2 new people. That's my
It's the only
prediction.
option they've got because she's polling less favorably. than
She's
Biden.
a loser. She hasn't done anything. They're both losers, con artists, scammers, bro. That's the name of the game. It's governments. Get sovereign, get the fuck out. Stop worrying about what these clowns are doing. You're bound to the board game either way. What, you're gonna not fund this company, or you're not gonna vote for this guy because you think the other guy's better, or because you think this they're all working together, dude. It's one big fucking club. You're just not in it. You don't see it. Once you start hanging out with top people, you begin to realize that these guys are playing in a different circle, different way of thinking. They're not thinking about money. They're thinking about power, influence, natural resources. They're beyond the game of money. So a lot of the things we see on the news is just noise. Get rich and get out.